distillery, which is incredibly difficult. You are also going to get 2 additional bonus points for guessing the exact bottle, which is even more difficult. At the time of sending these samples out, the samples were comprised of 374 bottles in my collection that were open at that time. I put them in a randomizer and randomized the hell out of them, and I had them pick 3 samples. So there is no rhyme or reason to any of these. I figured I was going to do that because if I didn't randomize them, there would be some kind of pattern that I subconsciously would do. So I wanted to keep it as random as possible for that. So if we are ready, is there any questions?
I don't think so. I'm good.
Nia, good?
Are we doing on the time basis each sample?
We're not going to do a time basis.
Okay.
When you guys are ready to move on and give me your answers, we'll go through them real quick. I am not going to reveal the bottles until after we're done with the third one, obviously for the age tiebreaker thing. And the other reason is if you are way off on the very first one, it's gonna affect you for the next 2.
Okay.
So after that, go ahead. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start on number 1.
I'm too sober
And
for this.
I will chat with you guys a little bit during this thing. Sometimes
Cheers.
I feel like a little tiny distraction. Cheers. Is actually somewhat helpful. Sometimes it is not. So if I am distracting you, let me know. I'll try to curb it a little bit.
May I remind everybody that I'm a rum girl, by the way.
Yes.
Bourbon is just with friends here and there.
Excellent. That's what it's for, with friends. Again, we're not trying to prove anything. This is literally just for fun, making things about the whiskey and the hobby and why we drink what we drink and do what we do is to enjoy the spirits. And I think enjoying a spirit, whether it be rum, whether it be tequila, whether it be whiskey, if you have no idea or preconception as to what it is before you go into it, you can really either appreciate it or really not appreciate it for what it is and how it tastes versus the name on the label.
I agree. I think that's one of the neatest things I like about blinds is I might have never tried any one of these, and then I go into it. I'm like, okay, I may have a whole new category I may have to jump into. So
exactly, and I like to help people spend their money with whiskey. So I can make suggestions all day and all night. And this is a first. I know we're only on week 2, but we did have a slight attempt by Dylan here to do a little bribery. He did send me 4 samples. It is not going to help him get any points, but thank you, Dylan. I do.
Dylan, hey. Wow! And I'm supposed to be the pirate here.
No, I just wanted to return the favor. It was really generous of you to include us in all this. So, why not?
I can send you some rum samples after. I do have some preferred for bourbon drinkers in the back. If anybody wants to check out some rums.
Nia, I made the mistake of befriending Marshall, and I am now slowly gathering bottles of rum. And,
that's awesome.
I kind of wish I didn't jump down that rabbit hole, but I'm super excited about it too. I have found my niche in rum. I really like funky Jamaican.
Nice. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Well, welcome to the rum side, my friend. Welcome to the rum side.
All right. So I see a bunch of people joined in here.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, everybody out there. Thanks for the support. Come hang out with us.
I didn't have comments up. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. I did not have the comments up, and now I'm just kind of looking through. You guys go ahead and go through. I do want to try to keep this roughly about an hour, so just bear that in mind. If we go over a little bit, not a big deal, but I don't want to be stretching into an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. Let's see who we got here. We got Randall, the Whiskey Shaman. How's it going? Marshall, Rough
really
Spirit.
Light too. This one's really light.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is nice though. I do like it
compared to the other 2 that you sent.
Yeah. I don't.
Tater Dom, how's it going, buddy?
This one's interesting.
Smoked by Ash. Hey, Joe.
Mm.
Sugar Kitty made it again. How's it going, Sugar Kitty? Cooking with Squirrels. Squirrels here. Oh, and the Whiskey Franco's here. Hey, Martin. I'm assuming I have a few people on your channel also, Nia and Dylan, that are watching. Dylan, did you stream this to yours as well, by the way?
I did not. I was trying to get it set up on my webcam, and last minute and everything I didn't get to. So, and
Okay.
I'm completely new to the whole live stream stuff. So this is all.
Absolutely, no worry. Marianne, how's it going?
Heck yeah, Nani. That's my co-host for a lot of our rum news stuff. So.
Okay, all right, cool. I've watched a few of those, and you guys are definitely very what is the word I'm looking for? Compatible
Animated
with each other as far as
oh yeah,
being
yeah.
on
That's
camera
my
together.
best friend. That's my bestie. So
Okay,
have a blast. Lots of fun.
Cool. Felipe. LOL sucker. That's got to be from about the rum comment. Okay, and I don't see any comments on Instagram yet. All right. So I am Dylan. I poured the Bonvale single malt. I have never heard of them, so I'm excited to give that a shot.
Yeah, they're a really small distillery, about an hour and a half from where I live, like south of Lafayette. Small family. They started about I think 2012, and they're making really good stuff. I really like their stuff. They're in the process of finally coming out with a rye and a wheated bourbon. And I mean, luckily I was they're in the process of given an opportunity to try their rye, and at a year old, it's pretty darn good. So they got some exciting stuff coming out, but it's sad. So like I was talking to their master distiller, and he said the single malt's actually going to be discontinued, which is unfortunately because I thought it was pretty solid. So I just don't think we have the market for it out here, unfortunately, but they are doing pretty nice stuff. So I was happy to send you something, let you get a try of it and see what you think.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will definitely let you know what I think. Marshall, Martin, and Randall, I just added you guys as moderators on the channel. If you can drop links to everybody's stuff, Nia's channel, Instagrams, Dylan's channel, Dylan's Instagrams, all of that stuff, make sure we get that stuff out there.
Appreciate that.
So tricky part that I've noticed about whiskeys in general, because I was practicing last night, the ABV and proof is really different from rum. Like with rum, there's like a significant difference versus yesterday when I was like, man, this is like 53. It doesn't even taste like it's like some of the bourbons I was trying, they were so smooth.
Yeah,
which is so much harder. Like I feel like in rum, you can definitely tell the big difference, especially like with the back palate, the burn on the chest. Like it's so different. With bourbon, it's not that significant. Like when you start moving up until you go to like 110, 120, that's when I can kind of tell the difference better, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, I have a bottle behind me. I think it's the Woodford batch proof from like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
it's 18 proof, but you drink it, you swear it's like 95 proof. Like it's so tricky. You just some that just have the ability to do that. I don't know how they do it, but some are just like that.
Corn magic.
Yeah.
Corn magic, yeah.
Okay, if you have misophonia, I'm gonna take a swig.
Doug, I do see your comment here. All right, cool. Thought they weren't working on here because I hadn't seen. Oh, yeah, Randall, there's one. Okay, cool. All right, so you guys got your guesses in yet?
Working.
Working. Not trying to rush it.
But this smells. The nose is amazing. It's very fragrant.
It really is. It's really nice. And this is also tricky. Like I think y'all had one last week. It was like this color, but it was like maybe 10 years old, or y'all were talking about one. It was like 10 years old. It's so tricky sometimes. Like these, I mean, these could be younger, but who knows?
Yeah. Color's a tricky one. It's hard to say you can't judge a whiskey by color, but you kind of can. I mean, there's certain aspects you can judge by color and certain aspects you can't. Age is definitely not one that you could judge by color, to a certain extent.
Hey, cooking with Scroll. Yes, I know misophonia. I suffer from it myself. So I was gonna do a little bit of Kentucky Chew. So I was warning you about that.
All right, so who do we got here? There's the link to Nia's channel, My Rum Diaries. And here's the link to Dylan's channel, Small Craft US. So Dylan, real quick, what is the premise? I mean, what do you Small Craft US? Now I look at that title and I think craft distillers, small, is that pretty much the premise? You focus on the small guys?
Yeah, I've kind of been focusing on craft distilleries. I'm trying to. It's been a long time coming, but my plan is to try to help support them any way I can, help share their stories. Because I mean, I've had several conversations with smaller distilleries, like a couple from Georgia, really all parts of the country lately. And by hearing their story, it just makes me want to help them put it out there. I'm also just, if I can get my hands on some of their stuff, I will do reviews. I'm also trying to start a podcast just to have them come on, kind of have a conversation and let them share their message. Because ultimately, I can only share so much. I can only tell you so much about everything, but having them come on will only, in my opinion, hope to get people to want to try their stuff. Just really, I think the biggest thing is if I was able to get somebody to just go try their stuff or buy a bottle for them, help support a small distillery or like a community that they're all helping as well. Like to me, that's a success. And I really like what they're doing. And we're starting to have more distilleries pop up in Louisiana that are small, family owned. Like one of the neat things about them, a lot of their distilleries is that they build everything by hand and like they're family owned, and it's their love and their just excitement for what they're making and putting out there is, I don't know, I just really enjoy it, and I hope I can make an impact and try to help them anyway. But that's kind of the whole point of it.
Excellent. Excuse me. I love small craft distilleries. Obviously, the big ones make great whiskey.
Yeah.
And I said this, I think Randall on your live stream the other night for St. Patty's Day. The difference between a big distillery and a small craft distillery is like the difference between buying Chips Ahoy cookies and having grandma make them. I mean, there's so much attention to detail, learning and experience and passion that go into grandma's cookies versus pressing a couple buttons and letting the automation run. Not that they make bad whiskey in those big places, but there is something about when somebody puts a ton of hard work and physical blood, sweat, and tears into the whole project from start to finish. You can almost feel that in in the whiskey itself.
It's unique, and I really do like how that all works out. But that's kind of like the four that I sent you. Like Bent Distilling is the biggest out of those, but JT Mellick and the Distillery Acadian is the smallest. But that's part of it. That's their pride. That's their baby. That's their pride and joy of what they're making. So
Absolutely, yeah, and it's great to see that come through. I need your collar there, Father Franco. All right, how we doing here?
I think I'm ready. There's no way I'm gonna get the exact distillery.
yeah, I mean,
You know what? If anybody gets the exact distillery, it's awesome. I actually find that to be one of the more difficult ones. Sometimes, like if you're way into Scotch, sometimes distilleries have a very distinct profile, and you can pick that up. There is a few distilleries throughout the country here that have some serious, very indicating markers, but for the most part, distillery and bottle is extremely tough. But take a stab at it anyways, because if you get it right, you got the points. If you just don't take the chance, you can't get the points. So, all right. So let's start with Nia, ladies first. Generic category, what do you got?
Single malt.
Okay. Dylan?
I went with single malt as well.
Generic on the ABV or the proof?
I went 92 proof.
I went 55 ABV.
55, so it's 110. And any generic casking you guys got?
I
I
just
said new. I don't know.
I said reused though.
Okay, you said used.
Yeah.
So we're just pretty much generic casking Nia, new oak, used oak. Any wine casking, just generically, just say wine casking, whatever you might be thinking there.
I'm gonna stick to new. I'm gonna learn from Marshall and just go with my gut, not
You're going
changing
with
my
new.
first choice.
All right.
I'm not second guessing myself.
Yeah, just go with your gut. That's what
Yep.
I do, but I'm having a hard time.
All right. So specific category. You guys said single malt. Both of you said single malt. What Nia, what do you got? Any specific on that?
I think it's a Scottish single malt.
Okay.
I just went with American. I'm not
You
too
went ASM. All right. Dylan, you said 92 proof. Are you staying with that for your specific?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick there.
Okay. Nia, same. Sticking with the 55 ABV.
I think I'm gonna drop it to 53.
53. All right. Specific casking. You said new, Nia. Is there anything additional you got there besides new?
Just oak, white oak.
Okay, so you're sticking with just new, no finishing, anything like that?
No, It's so light and elegant and floral, very, very light.
Okay. Dylan, anything on a specific casking, finishing or anything like that?
No, I think I'm gonna stick with the used oak. I feel like there's a little more oak in it to me. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little more oak.
Okay.
That could be something different.
Any age guesses?
I said 4.
I'm thinking 6.
4, 6. Got it. All right. Anybody have a guess for a distillery or a bottle?
I'm gonna make a stretch here. So I guess the different distillery and a different bottle, just to take it
Fine.
out. So sticking to the ASM category, I said Westland or Westland. And the bottle I said was the Quintessential by Cedar Ridge. I had a sample of this with blind barrels, and it kind of reminded me of that. I'm not sure if that's it, but to me, it just has a very similar profile to that. Like, it's very approachable.
Okay.
Really smooth.
Yeah. Anything for either one of those two?
No.
This is tough.
It is tough.
I have a feeling this is only going to get harder. All right.
All right. You guys can go ahead and move on to number 2 whenever you're ready.
Right.
Number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
Hopefully for me. What's everybody drinking in the chats is what I want to know. Let's see what these whiskey people drink.
Great question, Nia.
During the lives. I want to see what you guys are drinking.
We got somebody, Sugar Kitty says Fireball or Malort. Trying to throw you off. That is the other thing, guys. I forgot to mention this earlier. There is nothing but whiskey in these samples. Not playing any games. It is all legitimate whiskey.
Well, if we had to choose between Fireball and Malort, I'm taking Fireball. Just saying.
I think I'm with you on that. I mean, it's not an easy choice, but never mind. Malort sucks. It's an easy choice.
Oh man, this really threw me for a loop. The nose is like nothing I've ever nosed before.
This, I feel like I could go a number of different directions with this. Just from
Yeah. Now I'm like, how many casks was this finished in? 24. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I think that might be a new record if that was the case. I don't know. Leave it up to
wow.
I don't even know.
And I'm also still learning like the rules, because we do have some rules in some countries for rum, but whiskey and scotch and bourbon, like bourbon, I think I'm pretty confident when it comes to bourbon, because we did do part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, which was amazing. But man, just the other stuff, like blowing my mind. Really fun though. It's been really fun exploring.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like there is some rules in rum, but it's pretty wide open as far as like adding things to or how you age it or where it ages or all of that. You know what you start with. Obviously, it's got to be a sugar base, but is it fresh pressed juice? Is it molasses? Is it all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of open-ended stuff in rum, whereas whiskey is pretty dialed in as far as what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
There is a little gray area in some things, but for the most part, it's pretty locked down.
Oh man, this is really throwing me off.
Yeah, this one's
That's my goal with these 3 samples is to
Yeah.
really stump you.
God, so pushy, Germ. So pushy.
I know. I am.
Humbling us.
Yeah, this one takes you on a ride. Like World's different than the first. Like there's
You're
a lot. I feel like there's a lot more spice. Like there's just
Nia, your crowd is worried that you're going to go to the dark side of whiskey here pretty soon. You're going to leave rum and come into whiskey.
good stuff.
As we say in Spanish, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both, right?
Why not both? That's right. That is a bold-faced lie, Martin.
Somebody said I don't drink with the name Whiskey Franco. Yeah, definitely a lie. I'm watching your nose grow from here, Pinocchio.
No, I am not pulling an asshole move like you would, Travis. I am far more nice than that to give somebody Malort.
I do have a question for casking.
Shoot.
Okay, so if we were to say it is toasted, do we have to tell you a specific toasted barrel, or is it just toasted's like good enough?
So if you're going with toasted, and I'm gonna add to this after I say this, but if you're going with a toasted barrel, like that's what's on the label, that would be under the specific casking.
Okay.
Now that being said, most barrels are toasted before they are charred.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know how like everybody now is doing a toasted version of their regular.
Yeah. Right. And I do accept that as a specific casking if that's what they're labeling on, that it's a finished toasted barrel.
Okay.
Felipe, I don't know exactly how to answer this. Horse Soldier is a Florida company. However, they source their whiskey from, excuse me, I want to say Ohio, Middle West Spirits. That is the only one that I know of from Florida that I've tried. But I mean, as far as trying a Florida whiskey that was, distilled in Florida company, blah, 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 I don't know as if I have off the top of my head.
See, you guys definitely know more than I do. So when it comes to like a specific category, it gets really tricky for me.
And that, Nia, don't stress about it. I mean, it's like if we were doing this with rum, I would be at a loss until I found Hampton in the sample. I mean, that'd be about like, the only thing that I could feel confident with.
Pineapples, got it.
Yeah.
Right. Not actual pineapples, guys. Come on. I know the rum world is a little bit of the Wild West, but we're not throwing pineapples in there yet.
Megan, Dark Door, I'm assuming it is a Florida distillery that makes whiskey, and Felipe Manifest as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I will look at them. For me, with the specific char levels, I actually am very preferential to lower char levels on new oak, and actually more preferential to used oak for most of my spirits. I am bourbon is not my jam as much as every other category of whiskey, but rye whiskey still is new oak. But I do like lighter char levels on that. I don't know, as far as Dylan, what do you think? Do you have a specific char level you like?
Not necessarily. I think um, I don't like a heavy toast on rye either. I will say, if I'm choosing between, like, I went to a tasting last year and I got to choose. There was various companies there, but they had a toasted rye and a just traditional rye for that same distillery. I took the traditional one over the toasted. I like getting the full flavors of a rye, and I don't really want more toast into there because I feel like it takes it away, in my opinion. And I think I agree with you on that one.
Okay,
And
excellent.
that's kind of been my go-to, like rye or single malt. I don't know what it is. I really like the flavorfulness of all the grains that you're getting there. It's rye and single malt, malted barley, but so much more flavor, in my opinion.
I do think that if you are for example, a Scottish single malt fan, you like Scotch, you like malted barley, that kind of stuff, rye is probably a little more suited to what you like because rye is such a flavorful grain. Totally different at other end of the spectrum as far as what it tastes like, but it is flavorful and robust, whereas malted barley can as well be. Whereas bourbon is more of it's more of just a sweetness overloaded. It very much so embraces the wood sugars and the sweetness of the corn as far as making the spirit what it is. Um, I don't know. That's a personal opinion.
No, I would tend to agree with that. I do think bourbon is a little on the sweeter side, but I like a spicy flavor or just something that's kind of robust.
Yeah.
So the same person who asked the question about the char level, he personally likes 4, or they personally like 4. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that's what you're finding you like, great. That's awesome.
So may I ask, what's the purpose of toasting then charring? I thought most of the times you either toasted or you charred.
Toasting the barrel before charring actually helps break down some of the sugars first. So then when you char it, they become more readily available for the spirit for the spirit to work with the wood sugars.
Okay.
I'm digging number 2. Number 2 is nice.
Yeah, it's very complex. It's got a really long palate too. It's very nice.
Yes.
And feel free if you guys normally use water for dropping things down a little bit or changing things up, try to get, whatever you got to do to get through the sample and figure out what you want to talk about. You go feel right ahead to do so.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, your comment over on Instagram, I see Cedar Ridge is very finish heavy, something that they like to do a lot, and they're very good at it. So I tend to shy away from finish heavy things, but he is so good at it that I don't even want to shy away from that one. Murphy is a rock star when it comes to figuring out what to put what in, what kind of barrels to put what he's got in, and it's just awesome. He's just awesome at it.
For me, there's Felipe's asking for the nose. For me, this one has some very interesting like dried fruits on the nose. But there's also kind of like a really deep oak in there. Like you can tell you can tell the barrel in there. It's really nice. And there's like a peppery finish on the back palate, which I absolutely love.
That's nice.
And it's really long. I sense for me, there's a little bit of oiliness on the top palate, which is quite enjoyable. But like I said, a really long palate, which I absolutely love in all spirits. But a nice little warm hug on the chesticles, which is also enjoyable.
There you go.
But I
Just-
personally,
That's that. Go ahead, Mia, and I gotta say something when you're done there.
I think this one is finished in something else, and I'm not gonna spill the beans yet, but I'm getting a little bit of tannins at the end. Something interesting going on there.
Okay. Chesticles. I have not heard that since I think I was maybe like 12 or 13 years old, and that is hilarious.
Welcome. I'm an adult child.
Yeah, perfect. I think we all are adult children for the majority of the time.
Heck yeah, life is too short. Life
Yep.
is too short to grow up. I refuse to grow up like Peter Pan.
I got to be an adult all day at work, and I don't want to be when I'm done with
Yeah,
work. So.
heck no. Adulting is overrated. Whatever our parents told us, I unsubscribe right away.
Yeah, the only cool thing about being an adult is we get to buy alcohol.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
pretty much the only cool thing about being an adult.
Exactly. And in my case, dress up like pirate whenever you want to, too.
Yeah, with that. All right.
And I don't know if any of you guys know who Lost Lantern is, but I am going live with them tomorrow at 6 Central. They are an independent bottler, a U.S. independent bottler, and they do fantastic things. And their new release for the springtime is coming out on the 27th. And I have a sample of each one of the 7 bottles coming out. And Adam and I are going to go through and do a couple of them. We're probably not going to do them all, but we are going to go through a few of them and talk about them. And it is excellent for me because they are releasing a Wisconsin whiskey, their first Wisconsin whiskey.
That's awesome.
And I get to talk about it, and I am thrilled about it.
That's awesome. I see you post a lot of their stuff, so I'm sure. I haven't had a chance to try any of their stuff, but if I do get a chance, I will definitely do so because it seems like you enjoy it, Sam.
They are, man. I tell you, I really like single cast spirits. I do. I think they're fun. They give a window or a look into a window of a distillery that you may already know from their other stuff. That is just like, wow, this distillery can do this. It's single cast stuff is really fun, and they also started doing some blending on their own. It's Nora and Adam blend together, and they make some really amazing blends. They're very, very good at it.
So is this their first release or?
No, they've been around. I want to say we're in year 3. But they release they release spring, summer, and fall and winter. They usually do 4 releases a year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I do enjoy Lost Lantern, Martin. If in case you missed I talk about it every once in a while. All right, how are we doing here on number 2?
I think I'm good.
You're good,
Dylan?
Dylan?
I guess.
All right, what do we got for a generic category? Let's start with Nia again. Or
I got
Adam.
rye.
You got a rye. Okay.
I went with
Dylan?
rye. Well,
You went with rye as well. ABV or proof, plus or minus 2?
I went with 55% ABV.
55%. Nia?
I went with 119 proof.
119 proof. Okay. Casking generically.
I said used.
Dylan?
I said toasted. It just felt like it was a heavily toasted rye, in my opinion.
All right. Category specifically.
I
said
put
rye,
a rye
we're just-
whiskey And I think
Just-
this is what?
Just staying with rye, right?
Yeah, staying with rye whiskey, but I think it's a pot still.
Interesting. Okay.
Giving me a lot of pot in there for some reason.
Okay. Dylan?
Yeah, I'm staying rye whiskey. That is interesting that she says that though.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that answer.
I love big
Um,
pots, and I cannot lie. So
we sticking with the same proofs for this one? We're gonna drop them, we're gonna change them,
Mm.
raise them. What are we doing?
I'm gonna stay. Yeah.
You're
I'm gonna
staying at
stay.
50. You're staying at 55. You're staying at 19. And specific casking.
I'm staying at toasted.
I'm gonna say used, but I'm also gonna. I think this is finished in some kind of wine cask. Which one? I don't know. I don't want to say, but I don't know. It kind of tastes like a cask, like a wine cask finish.
All right. Any guesses on the age?
I said 5 years.
I say it's 6.
And Nia, distillery or bottle guess?
No idea.
I went. So I took the same distillery for the for the bottle. So I felt that it was something from the south because I feel like I've tasted a rye that kind of resembles this from the south. So I went with ASW, the Toasted Fiddler, or Toasted Fiddler, however you say it. But that's what I
Gotcha.
probably way off, but you know.
Yeah, that's good guessing. All right, move on to number 3.
All right.
Heck yeah, smoked by Ash. I'm throwing it out there. I'm YOLOing it for this blind tasting. I'm throwing a guess. That's right. That's how I'm rocking and rolling today.
What?
By the way, that second one was so good. When we're done, I don't know if anybody has heard of this trick, but we like to leave the Glencairns upside down the next day so you can really smell the cask in there. So I'm gonna do that with this tonight because I'm excited to see what this comes up like tomorrow.
All right.
I'll send you a picture of me like sniffing it at like 8 a.m. and just like face of like orgasm of happiness.
Okay, this is wow. So different.
Gosh, don't keep on saying different. It's intimidating.
I mean,
That
okay.
previous one already blew my mind. I was like, I've never nosed anything like this. Not that I've nosed a lot of stuff in whiskey category, obviously not, but
Yeah, this is wow. What the heck?
oh man. Well, Whiskey Shaman says he doesn't flip, but he smells it in the morning too. Okay.
Yeah, I always leave a little bit and smell it in the morning.
So good. Yeah, Megan, I wish. I don't think they'll do Angel's Envy. Or maybe, who knows? We'll see, right?
What?
Even though, like, we always, with my friend Megan, we always say that Angel's Envy is like creme brulee.
Burnt sugar, yes.
But fun fact about Angel's Envy, they used to finish in plantation or plantaray casks, and now they finish with Bacardi because Bacardi bought them out. So if
Really?
you've noticed the difference in bottle, that's probably it.
Didn't know that. What the heck are you?
Man, this is it smells so sweet.
It really does.
Like toffee and nutty too, a little nutty. These are really good picks, Germ. They're very, very different.
Thank you. I wish I could say I had a hand in actually picking them other than, just pouring them. But yeah, my randomizer did a pretty good job making it wild.
Yeah.
All right. And if anybody missed it, we did have one attempt at a bribery by Dylan. He did send me a few samples. He is not getting any extra bonus points for that, but I do appreciate it.
Only
And
if you
my
really
first one was the Bonvale American Single Malt at 121.2 proof, and it's 2 to 3 years old. And now I am stepping into the unbent straight malt whiskey at 100 proof and 3.5 years old. Two distilleries I have heard of unbent, but just as far as a name, haven't had either one. So this is exciting. I get to try something new.
Yeah, I really like their straight malt, and then I actually got to bottle my own rye
Oh, cool.
because
That's fun to do that.
Yeah, it's really neat, and that I got to bottle it at I think it was 136 proof, 6.5 years old, and it was unbelievable. It was so delicious.
Oh, Martin, you're gonna make me blush. Let's give it up for the Dylan and Nia here for putting themselves through this.
Heck yeah, anytime.
Fortune.
By the way, Dylan, I'm a huge fan of small craft as well. So
Thank you, I appreciate that.
hell yeah.
So, is there, like, obviously I know in the States there's smaller craft distillers that do a rum. Is there like the same deal? Like, I was just in Jamaica and we went to Hampton. They're huge, obviously. Gigantic. But is there small little, like, what we would consider craft distillers that do stuff like that in Jamaica or Guyana or wherever they make rum at?
Well, this is the thing that's gonna blow your mind. Hamden used to be a small craft distiller, but they blew up because of this independent bottle called La Maison Nevelier.
Mm-hmm.
They travel around the world and they bring these small craft like heritage distillers to the forefront, and they bottle their rum, and eventually they get so popular that they're like, hey, you're blowing up on your own, and then they start doing things on their own. That's the story of Worthy Park, of Hamden. The only one that's a little bit smaller that you might not find a lot of rum here from Jamaica, since you like Jamaican rums, is Long Pond. Long Pond, also, unfortunately the distillery fairly recently burnt down all the way down, so they had to restart. But their rums are phenomenal. I think in the Caribbean, I'd say you probably find more small craft distillers like in the Western Caribbean. Like Puerto Rico has some incredible, believe it or not, besides the big guys like Bacardi, Donku, those kind of, but they have like small craft distillers there that have even some like agricole style type of rums, which is very interesting. So I'd say maybe like the more popular islands will have some small craft distillers, some unsung heroes as I call them. And when you go to like rum events, you get to meet the owners, you get to meet the master distiller in person who'll talk to you about that passion that they have that you talked about, Dylan, which I absolutely love too. And even their struggles. Like one of the small distillers that we love in Puerto Rico is San Juan Distillers, and they do an agricole style type of rum in Puerto Rico, which is kind of crazy because most of the rum in Puerto Rico is from molasses, and they use sugarcane juice, which is more of like French Caribbean style. And
Okay.
their rum is phenomenal. No additives, great aging, and they control a lot of the stuff. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Awesome. And Puerto Rico is pretty easy for us to get to. So
Yeah.
the next time we go to Jamaica, Worthy Park is on my list. I know you told me that that's
Oh man.
that's
Yeah.
a place to go.
Yeah, definitely. And they're doing some really cool stuff. Like I think they're the first rum that I'm aware of that released a rum finished in Calvados cask, and it was incredible. Incredible. And the great thing about Worthy Park is they process their sugar. They have a sugar mill there, and they have multiple fields and acres of sugar cane of different varietals too, which is very interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, Marshall, I agree with you. American rum is for sure small craft, very small craft. That's why I like. If you guys are not familiar, and this goes for all you whiskey, bourbon, rum fans, here in Florida, there's the Florida Distillery Trail by the Small Craft Distillers Association, I think it's called. It's a simple app, and it'll give you the trail, which is incredible, and you get to see all these different distilleries. Yeah,
Nice.
it's Ethel Spirits Trail. It's an app. You get points when you visit these distilleries. You get a stamp,
cool.
which is really cool, and you get to try. And most of these places, they do everything. They're kind of a one-trick pony. They do vodka, they do whiskeys, they do rums, they do gins, some of them, which is incredible. But if you want to support locals and you're here in Florida, highly recommend the Florida Spirits Trail. They do a lot of cool events too.
Excellent.
Are there any near like Orlando, Florida? Because I'll be going there for last week of August and September.
Yeah. So I'm actually going this weekend to Daytona Beach to finally make it to my favorite Floridian rum distillery, which is Copper Bottom. But in Orlando, they have Loggerhead, and Loggerhead is definitely a really good distillery as well. I haven't made it to there yet, but I've heard a lot of hype about it. So it's very interesting. If you download the FL Florida Trail, it's like an app. It'll show you everything that's on there, which is amazing.
Oh, nice.
But I saw on the chat earlier, Dark Door. Dark Door is another phenomenal distillery here in Florida. They had, I think, a couple whiskeys. They had a mesquite rum that was phenomenal. If you like Balcones rums, you like Dark Door. They had a mesquite and some other kind of like that, which was amazing. Rough Spirits agrees with me. He said, yeah, that Copper Bottom Nia sent me was amazing. I sent them a rum finished and port cast that they made, and amazing.
This is one that I have not had. I actually don't get into Westward too much, and I probably should change that, but I have so many other things that I focus on that they tend to fall backwards a little bit down the list. But yeah, definitely sounds like something I'd like.
Wait,
all right.
So there is Westland Word, right?
Westland and Westward.
Okay, I get confused between the two because they're very similar to me.
I know the difference between the two, and I still will say the wrong one every time. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
How are we doing here? Are we ready to throw some guessing out?
We are. Well, I am. I'm answering for you, Dylan. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm stuck on the distillery and bottle, but you can go ahead. I'll think as I go.
There you go.
I think this is a bourbon and generic ABV. I'm gonna say is like 53. I think this is a new cask. I'm gonna say this is for a specific category. I'm sticking with bourbon, the ABV 53, but I'm gonna say this is white American oak. And then the age, I'm gonna say 4.
Do you want to throw out a distillery in a bottle, just in case you land on them?
I don't know. It's hard.
It is,
This one's
but
real
you can't get them if you don't guess them.
right.
Let me think about it. Can I answer after Dylan does his
Mhm.
more general stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
So
go.
I said bourbon as well.
Okay.
I said it was 45% ABV. It is new American oak or white oak. And I said it is 6 years old. Bottle.
Still okay. So bourbon is the specific category. New. Sticking with 45.
Yeah.
All right. Distillery bottle.
The more I nose it, the more similar this noses to me. But it's like I don't know. I don't know. I want to say Old Forester.
Hey, it's a distillery. It's popular. It's out there. And a bottle in mind.
Um,
I don't.
I don't know. Lately, I've tried only their barrel pick stuff, so it's kind of hard. But maybe
Okay.
like the 1920. Is it 1920? I don't know.
That's a good guess.
All right, Dylan. Distillery bottle. You got yours yet?
I don't have a specific distillery. Well, I feel like it's a Kentucky bourbon. Like it's so sweet. It really has that profile of a Kentucky.
Yeah.
Something that's sweet. I'm gonna say this distillery. I'm gonna just go Buffalo Trace, and I'm gonna go bottle. I'm gonna go Buffalo Trace as well on the bottle.
Cool.
Probably not close.
All right. Are we ready for the reveals?
Yes, I am.
Let's see.
Come on, guys. Man, but this second one, I'm not gonna guess the distillery, but this is from Texas. Texas has flavor bombs, man.
All right.
Number 2 is from Texas. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're not guessing badly. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet.
So let's go with number 1. Dylan, you actually scored 3 points on number 1. You got 1 point for a generic ABV or proof, and you got 1 point for saying generically used oak. You also got 1 point for nailing the proof right on the head. It is 92 proof.
Nice.
Nia, unfortunately, you missed on yours. You were a little high on the ABV. And you went with new oak instead of used oak. It was actually
Red Spot 15.
Red Spot Irish pot still whiskey.
Wow.
So this is a Irish single pot still. It is 15 years old, 92 proof. We covered that already. The whiskey is split up, and some is aged in ex-bourbon, some is aged in ex-sherry, and some is aged in ex-marsala. Then they blend it back together before bottling.
Wow.
That's a process. Wow.
Yeah.
Being a single pot still, that means the mash bill is malted barley and unmalted barley. I do not know the specifics on the percentages there. I'm not sure if we do. And the distillery is Middleton.
Middleton.
Never would have guessed that.
Mm-mm.
And I think it's also because I'm on the Scottish trend, like Scottish.
You said single malt, so I mean you got barley. You were there with the barley, and the finish really hides some of the single pot still spice on that one. So single malt is actually a very good guess from both of you. Um, it could very very well be mistaken for a single malt. All right, bottle number 2. Dylan, you got 2 points on that one.
Okay.
You caught the New Oak generic casking and the New Oak for specific casking. Category, you guys were both wrong. You said rye. It is actually an American single malt.
Wow.
This is an SMWS bottle. SMWS 142.3. Distillery 142 is Brooklyn out of Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, really?
It is a 7-year-old American single malt. It is in a first fill #1 char barrel.
#1 char.
I did reach out to SMWS to get clarification on the first fill quote on here, and that does mean new when they put it on an American whiskey. It is bottled at 67.1%.
Wow.
That's a hot one. You guys you both said pretty high numbers. You said 55, Nia, you said 119. So you were both up there, but it definitely does not drink at 67. But it is up there. So that covers that one. And then moving on to number 3. I love this one that you guys said this. You were correct. You were both correct. It is Kentucky. However, Dylan, you got 1 point for the new casking. Also 1 point specifically for the new casking. Nia, you got 1 point for the new casking and specifically new casking. So you both ran with 2 points on that one. Nia, you were so close on the proof. You said 53%. It is 50%. So you were 1% away from hitting the generic ±2. Dylan said 45. So we were a little low there. But this bottle is the New Riff malted 6-year rye.
Rye.
So this is 100% malted rye. I'm sorry. Yes, 100% malted rye.
Wow.
Aged 6 years in New Oak.
Wow.
But you did get the age guess right, Dylan. So if there was a tie here, you would have won it with that one.
Yeah, that number 2 was definitely a flavor bomb. I think that one was the one that blew my mind most. And I was torn between picking an American single malt because I enjoyed it so much. And last night when I was training for this, I said, it's official. American single malts are my favorite.
Well, I love that. That really, really makes
out
my
of
heart
all this
smile.
category, and I should have gone with my first thinking. I said, this is my favorite out of these 3, and I should. Yeah, that's awesome.
Man.
All right, I'm going to just look through some of these comments here while I was giving those out.
Do y'all hear my dryer going off in the background?
Yeah, this is what I was thinking last night after when I said that, when I was like, okay, it's official. American single malts are my favorite. It's the Balcones Texas single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
Texas one.
The
All right,
chosen.
yeah.
That
is so good.
So good.
Yeah, my dryer decided to break, and the timer stops, but the alert sensor or whatever does not go off. So you will know it's done. Sorry about that. Well, these are really nice. These are really good.
I think you both like watching your expressions. The red spot really got you guys. Like it was, you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Maybe not your overall preference as far as whiskey goes, but you did enjoy it. I think you both had the very similar reaction to number 2 as well, as it being very robust and just in kind of in your face and like, wow, I better take notice of this one, kind of thing. That was really cool, and you both had very similar experiences with the third one as well. So I mean, that's pretty cool to see that too, because you both went bourbon route. You both said Kentucky, and it is Kentucky, just barely, but it is.
I
Yeah,
really meant to say like a bottled and bond, but I didn't know what to pin it on. But I never expected a malted rye. I can tell you
right.
that.
That thing is wild, man. I love that bottle.
That's so good.
But it is not. It doesn't play like regular ryes. That's for sure.
Oh, it does not. It fooled me.
Yeah, that was
It fooled me.
for sure. Demi, yes, this is a single barrel cast strength selection from the chosen by the cult. So
There should be a white sticker on the side or the back, and or on the very top of the back label. It'll say a wood type.
oh, it just says age 62 months in the new American oak barrel.
Okay, so it's just new oak.
Yeah. There's no white. There's more like a
Okay, yeah, that sometimes too.
yeah.
But usually right there on that back label, that top white bar.
Oh, like here?
Yeah, usually that's where the single casks have what they were aged in up there.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Balcones, as you can tell. I love their rums. They're so it's um like you're licking a piece of meat when it comes to the rums. It's so good. Like barbecuey, like mesquite, so good.
They make some funky stuff. Like their stuff is just funky, but it's unique. And I have their rye, like their 100 proof rye. I think it's it says at least 24 months, but it's like so strange, but it's so good. I love it.
Okay, Ryan, yes, this is bracket style. So Dylan is going to move on. I forgot to even say what the total was here.
Congrats, Dylan.
Thank you. I'm
5,
super shocked by the results. I can say
7. 7-2. But Dylan will move on to the next round. That means where are we at here? Where's Dylan? Where's Dylan? Dylan, your next one is going to be on 5-22.
522. Okay.
And let's see. Next week, what do we got next week? We got Zach Andrews versus Doug at Demi Taste. So that ought to be good. Zach is a sleeper, I think. And Doug is no slouch either. He's gone through a lot of whiskeys, so
Yeah.
I think that'll be a fun party to watch. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for entertaining my silly idea here and joining me on this. Thank you, everybody who tuned in and watched, and all the comments and everything like that. And make sure you guys do follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff to both My Rum Diaries and Small Craft US or US Small Craft on Instagram. Also, everybody else in the comments here, we got the Whiskey Shaman. Make sure you give him a like, subscribe, follow. Rough Spirits, Whiskey Franco, same deal there. Demi Taste Whiskey, also follow, like, subscribe him. Anybody else that might be in the chats that has a channel, definitely follow them up. I see we got one on Instagram that I definitely want to make a mention of. HJC Media Group. If you guys are into sports talk, podcasts, all that kind of stuff, definitely give HJC Media Group a follow. He is doing a podcast. We are on he did a special one today for episode yesterday. yesterday for episode 3. And they usually come out on Fridays, but there was some special breaking news in the NFL world. So I think they did a special release yesterday. Yeah. Other than that, I appreciate everybody for joining, watching, playing along, all of that good stuff. And tune in next week, same time, same channel.
Thanks,
And
Germs. Thanks so much. This was so much fun. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.
I look
I am
forward
glad,
to the next
glad you
whiskey, I
enjoyed.
guess.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
Cheers,
that.
everybody.
Sorry about the prior, you guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Mad at me.